Assalamu alaikum, welcome and karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar's kitchen. Today we are making this really good looking petit fours, which by the way they are really delicious. And for the recipe that I'm going to share with you, you can use 2 8-inch or 2 9-inch pans like this, or you can use this size, which is 9 by 13 if you want to slice your cake into 3s, or you can use half a sheet pan if you want to do 2s. All right, so I've got 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup, about 200 grams. I just broke it down. Make sure your butter is in room temperature. Then I added 3 cups of sugar, granulated sugar. We're going to cream this for a couple of minutes. And then in the meantime, I'm going to sift the flour, which is all-purpose, 3 cups, which is 375 grams. And I have added quarter teaspoon of baking powder, quarter teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of sugar. Baking powder and baking soda is really not necessary in the pound cake, but I wanted my cake to be a little bit lighter since pound cake is dense. So once the sugar and butter was ready, I added vanilla and almond. For flavoring, you can add anything you want since it's pound cake. And then I went ahead and did the eggs one at a time. Room temperature, 6 eggs. You want to make sure the yellow has disappeared before you add another egg. All right, so once that's done, I'm just going to scrape all the way till the bottom to make sure everything is okay before we start adding the dry ingredients, alternating with the wet ingredients. So my dry ingredients are in 3 portions, so I'm going to start with the flour and finish with the flour. Now for the wet ingredients, I have used thick yogurt, and I have mixed it with milk, total 1 cup. I've done the yogurt 3/4 cup, and I've got whole milk 1 cup. Quarter cup. Total to 1 cup. You can do sour cream, and you can also mix it with heavy whipping cream if you want. All right, so now we add the yogurt again, and then I'm going to finish it with the flour. All right, this is the similar recipe to what I have done in my pound cake. I know I'm trying to make this recipe as quick as possible, so it's not really like in detail like how I usually do. All right, so now once that's done, I'm just going to finish with a spatula. I like to finish with a spatula, not to use the mixer all the time or all the way, because it does overwork the cake and I don't want it to be hard. All right, so once that's done, I'm gonna just spread this in the pan, and please make sure that the oven is ready at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 176 to 180 Celsius. All right, now petit fours, usually they're recommended to use pound cake, because pound cake is dense and it can hold when you slice your cake into bites. It doesn't fall apart. All right, so if you have your own recipe, you can use, or you can buy pound cake if you want. It's fine. All right, so this cake would bake for about 35 to 45 minutes. I did 37 minutes, which I think I should have done more, because I did this recipe in Ramadan, but I was not able to share with you guys. So you want to make sure that it's cool before you start working. Mine actually stayed a whole day. I didn't get a chance to work with it. This is the following day. All right, so I'm going to divide this into 3. You can do 4, you can do 6, as many as you want. It depends on the flavoring that you want to do. So I'm going to have 3 types of filling: raspberries, strawberries, and peach and cherry. That's what I wanted to do. All right, so now I'm just going to remove this part. Now, ideally, you would want to freeze this before you work with it, but I really didn't have time, so I just worked with it the way it is. And then this would be the bottom part, and the bottom would be the top part. Okay, you don't have to do this, but I think it looks better when it is very light, and that's the reason why I didn't bake it too long, because when I baked it earlier in Ramadan, I made 45 minutes, which was really good, but it had a lot of color, so this time I did it lesser, but it's a little bit crummy. Anyway, so after that, I'm just going to slice this just like that. You want to do it evenly, so that all the slices look nice. All right, just like that. And then after that, after this part, I covered it and then I put it in the freezer because I was having a lot of trouble, a lot of problems actually. So once I removed it from the freezer for about 20 minutes, then I'm going to do my filling. For this one, I did apricot preserve. And you can do any kind of filling you want. You can also do singles where you don't have to slice it and just have a single bite, just a cake without any filling. Okay, I hope I made myself clear. I'm trying to do this fast. I've been trying to post this video since last week. I wanted to share with you guys so you'll have enough time to do it for Eid, but unfortunately I did not have that time. So anyways, I'm trying my best. If you cannot do it for Eid, you can do it anytime. All right, and then I just put it like that. And then I kept it in the freezer. No, I didn't keep it in the freezer, sorry. Now I'm going to slice this. You want to have a scale or a ruler, but I can't find mine, so I'm just going to eyeball this. So some pieces were a little bit bigger, so basically it's 1 inch. Okay, it's supposed to be a bite size, so when you just put it in your mouth the way it is. All right, so I'm just going to slice it. And then after I finish slicing, then I put it in the freezer. All right, I also made a recipe for marzipan, but I did not have time to show you how I'm going to use it, so I decided not to share the recipe, maybe some other time. All right, I don't think I'll even use it for Eid. Got too much going on. All right, so now you see, we're going to slice it like that. And as you can see, they're nice and beautiful. And yeah, so after this, wrap it up. And I kept it in the freezer so that it will be easy to work with when we are covering it up with the fondant, poured fondant or pourable fondant. All right, so I'm using 3 cups of icing sugar or powdered sugar, confectionery sugar, and I've got a pinch of salt and half a cup of water. And I'm going to cook this on medium heat. And also a tablespoon of corn syrup. You can also use honey. And we're just going to cook this to bring it to a boil, but not to boil it, because you really don't want to get it to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So getting to a boiling point is enough. All right, just enough. All right, so I'm just going to stir, as you can see, till I get to the point that I want it to be. And I also added almond extract. I was out of vanilla. I like to mix both, and you can use any flavoring that you want at this point. You see, it's ready, almost ready. So we're gonna see, as soon as you see the bubbles on the side, you're gonna turn it off. And now I am using chocolate. Chocolate is totally optional, but I love to use it. And actually, candy melts are much better because they really harden very fast. But I never seem to have those kind of things in my house, though I buy, but the girls just use it. So I melted the chocolate in the microwave at 20 seconds interval until I get it to this point. Then I'm going to mix this with my pourable fondant. Now you want to make sure it's not very hot, so that's why I was stirring it, because it will mess up the chocolate if it's too hot. So you want it to be just a little bit, it's warm but not too warm, just enough for it to be able to mix it properly. Okay, and so that's it, and we're gonna keep stirring it until it's warm to touch, so that way it will be easy to coat the petit fours. Now you can put your petit fours on the tray and then just pour the fondant, but I'm gonna do single ones. So I've got my fork in there that I'm gonna dip it in, and you want to use a spoon, whatever works for you, just like that. Now this was a bit too hot, so it was still thin, But I went ahead and did it anyway, and then I decided to do a second coat. Like I say, I didn't have much time. It's just been a crazy week, and I was just trying to finish as quickly as I had. So now I decided to go for the second coat after I cooled the fondant. You can see now it's different. It's thicker than the first time. You can also use chocolate alone, just melt the chocolate or candy melts and then just cover it, white or brown chocolate. That's fine. All right. So I'm going to do these again. And you want to place your fork. Actually, I decided to change and use a spatula. It's easy at the bottom, while you're sliding it down, so you don't have any marks of the whatever tool that you're using, just like that at the bottom, and you just slide it out. I'm trying to remove my hand from the camera as well as trying to show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, just like that. And then now I'm going to do the third one. And you can do any colors that you want. And the decorations for this can be really, really beautiful. And yeah, you can also fill them up, slice them, and put them in the freezer and use them when you want. You can coat them with a fondant and also use them when you want. They're really, really forgiving, and they're also very good for parties and gatherings, because for this recipe, you can get 100 petit fours. That's a lot. All right. So now I'm going to divide my mixture, and I need to color this. I use coral, a little bit of coral, which I needed peach. So that's what I used. And now we are going to use peach. And so just like that, and the same way. And I think the peach looked really beautiful. It's one of my favorite. Even the pink was beautiful. The chocolate was not so great because there's too many things were going on. So I'm not going to explain now, but I hope you guys have time to try. And so there's a chocolate, and I also did pink ones. And so this is a batch I didn't even finish. So thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful Eid Mubarak. You'll find all the ingredients and measurements in the description box below. Let's cut this and see how beautiful they look. They're also very soft. Pound cake is the best for this, by the way. And I wish you all a wonderful day. Bye-bye.